as each day goes by, it feels like the scramble for a signature is getting a little bit stronger. Now, obviously, we know Bayern Munich still technically have a manager, but it doesn't feel like Thomas Tuchel is going to be around long term there. And, it's going to be a slog to try and win this battle, I think. Look, we all believe, and I certainly believe, that Alonso should be chomping at the bit to take the Liverpool job, but Bayern are one of those three clubs that we've mentioned before that he has links to or a soft spot for: Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Liverpool. But I try to look at it this way: if I am Xabi Alonso and I am going to leave Bayer Leverkusen, I think the Liverpool job is the premier one that's available at the minute. Even if the Bayern job's available, I think that job, and people I've spoken to kind of think similarly, will probably come up multiple times during Alonso's managerial career. How often is the opportunity to manage Liverpool in the situation that we're in, with a great squad and harmony at the football club? Because remember, Bayern Munich, as much as they'll pull on his heartstrings and will be an attractive proposition, they're not in a great place at the minute compared to us, as an example. Like, there's no problems behind the scenes at Liverpool. The squad is good, young, hungry, and Bayern have other issues. So I don't know if leaving Leverkusen to go to the team that he's looking to beat is the best move for him at this point in his managerial career. But I would say that, wouldn't I? Because I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm De Zerbi out before he even joins, said TJ. Right, let's get a poll. I'm going to ask you, if Alonso doesn't come in, who's your second choice from this list? And let's see if we can't come up with a consensus. So there we go. So your options are: if we don't get Alonso, other than Alonso, who do you want? De Zerbi, Amorim, Ange, or any other German? Because I know some people will want Flick, some people will say Nagelsmann, some people will say Thomas Tuchel, and there's some others who will say scratch and sniff. So I'll just give you all of the other Germans as an option, because I still don't think that's going to be the winning option. Thomas Frank. I don't know, man. Frank's an interesting one, but I don't think it would work. I don't think Liverpool fans would be happy with Thomas Frank. Honestly, I don't. It's one of those that I feel like the idea of it is somewhat attractive in theory, but in practice, not so sure it would work. I certainly wouldn't feel contented with Thomas Frank, even though I really like Thomas Frank and like how his teams play, like how he conducts himself. I still don't think it would be a big enough personality and name yet to manage Liverpool. Do you think we get Alonso though? So I was a lot more confident 2 days ago than I feel right now. But I don't know if that's the media putting the shits up me or if I have a right to be concerned. But if you asked me 2 or 3 days ago, my first thought would have been, he's going to be the Liverpool manager. There's no doubt in my mind about it. It'll happen fairly quickly. But now, I don't know if it's almost the media willing some battle between Liverpool and Bayern Munich, but it feels maybe a little bit less certain in my head than a few days ago. And I don't know if I'm just letting the narrative by some outlets get to me or if I'm genuinely concerned. Yeah, I'm a bit more nervous about it, I've got to be honest. Probably because I don't see a really viable alternative at the moment. At least in my own head, I don't see a viable alternative. Alonso would choose Liverpool over Bayern Munich any day. I think so, Lee. I think so. I hope so, bro. It's difficult when you're in this bubble, right? Because we view Liverpool as the greatest thing in the world, right? We view Liverpool as the biggest club in the world in our heads. The most attractive club in the world with the best fans in the world. Sometimes I remind myself the way Alonso left Liverpool, it wasn't exactly on great terms because of what happened with himself and Rafael Benitez with the whole Gareth Barry thing. You know, Rafa trying to bring Gareth Barry to the club and Alonso felt, I guess, a little bit unloved at that point. There was also, if my memory is correct, a fallout over Alonso being at the birth of one of his kids and missing a game. I think Rafa wanted to make sure he was available. So, yeah, sometimes I think hindsight's a little bit different and we look back at things more favourably than they actually were at the time. But then again, you read quotes from Xabi Alonso about his time at Liverpool and how it's a very special club and all these other things, and you then kind of go, well, maybe I'm looking at this wrongly. I just feel like the longer it goes on, the more nervous we're all going to become. because like everything else, the clock's ticking, and the clock's ticking on a whole host of things, not just on the next manager, on the next sporting director. We've got 3 major contract renewals that need to get sorted out quickly. Asentino, again, thank you for your super chat. Said, I would love to have Nagelsmann. No one remembers how good he was with Bayern. De Zerbi would not be bad either. I don't think I'm unsure on Nagelsmann. I think he has to be really careful about his next job, because he doesn't want to get branded as a failure at big clubs. And of course, he's in a job at the moment, certainly until after the Euros anyway. And we can't wait that long. So I don't know if Nagelsmann is a real consideration at this point. But let's have a look at the poll and see how you guys are voting so far. And so far, Roberto De Zerbi is winning the poll with 38%. Ruben Amorim is in third place with 24. Ange Postecoglou with 25% is in third. And in second. And any other German, which would include Joachim Löw, Hansi Flick, Julian Nagelsmann and Thomas Tuchel, are way down at 14. So I think there's a lot of love for Amorim, Postecoglou and De Zerbi. In my order, I would go, honestly, I'd go Postecoglou, De Zerbi, Amorim, or Postecoglou, Amorim, De Zerbi. I'm not sure, but I certainly would think Ange Postecoglou would be a better fit to our club, but there's no hope in hell we're getting him, because he's not going to leave Spurs. Nor should he, to be fair. You know, he's in a good job there, and he's got them playing good football, and the Spurs fans love him, and Levy would be a nightmare to deal with. So yeah, I don't think that's going to be a possibility, but I wouldn't have said no. Why isn't Inzaghi on the list? I mean, because it can only fit 4 people. Really, Russell, excuse me, because it can only have 4 options for the poll. But we spoke about Inzaghi before, and of the managers that were plying their trade in Italy, Inzaghi would probably be top of that list for me. He has been mentioned, certainly. There's been some people that spoke about him. Conte is also a good candidate. No, he isn't. Not at all. Not even a little bit. Nothing about Antonio Conte screams Liverpool. Everything about Antonio Conte screams Antonio Conte. Even listening to him the other day saying that, you know, talking about his time at Chelsea and how people were wanting him to fail publicly. Nobody gives a fuck, Antonio. Nobody cares. Your results are what you live and breathe by. And the way he treated Spurs at the end, not even bothering to come back after his gallbladder surgery and stuff, I have to say, I found that very disrespectful to the club that were paying his wages. And I don't really like Antonio Conte. I think he's arrogant and an arsehole. So for me, it'll be a terrible fit. Same with Mourinho. He'd be a terrible fit at Liverpool. Right, I'm going to end this poll because I feel like we have another poll or two in the making. So basically, we've had over 1,000 votes and 40% feel, if it wasn't Xabi Alonso, that Roberto De Zerbi would be the preferred option. Second place was Ange Postecoglou, then Ruben Amorim, and any other German, even though we gave you 4 options there, still only came up with 13% of the vote.